Here we go again. I mean, this is the truth show, and there's more. Oh, I'm not done yet. Oh, and there's more. Oh, I'm not done yet. I mean, this is the truth show. Oh, yes. Please note that this is all alleged. I've never met any of these people. I've deeply researched all of my information. This is a trigger warning. In this video, I may be talking about or showing sensitive material about some subjects or topics that may be disturbing or upsetting or may bring forth some troubling memories, as you read in the description or title. With that said, either end the video now or brace yourself. Aside from that, enjoy. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and get started here. Again, I want to welcome you all to the show. Damn, I just thought about something. I need this. I'm going to have to put that in a new window. Yeah. You guys can hear me out there? Let me know if you can hear me out there. Okay, I see that you can. Fantastic. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. I know it's been a long time coming trying to get this damn thing off and running. I'm telling you, it's been crazy. I'm telling you. Trying to get this thing up and running has been a pain in my ass. Okay? I'm going ahead and put it out there. I had to update, everything here because a lot of this is kind of old news. So, bear with me here. I'm telling you, it's been a pain in the ass. I'm telling you, it's been a pain in the ass. Yes, it has. Yes, it has. I understand why when we're not going to discuss that. We're just going to go ahead and jump into it. Hey, Charles, how are you doing? I'm glad you can hear me. Did I do a tarot reading on you, Charles? Your name looks so freaking familiar. I think I did a tarot reading on you. I don't even remember. I mean, I've done a lot of tarot readings, and I don't remember everything. I'll be real with you, so. Oh, you did? Okay. And how's that going? Everything going good? All right, so let's go ahead and make sure you guys share. Share with your family, share with your page. Let everybody know that I'm live, That'll be really helpful. I don't even show up in the results. They're really blacklisting me. I'm fucking believable. I just put truth show, the truth thing. You think the truth show will pop up? Hell no. Fucking jerks. Unbelievable. Anyway. I got the wrong damn banner scrolling at the bottom. Didn't even know I had the wrong banner. Here we go. Let's have that one showing instead. Good evening, Kimberly. How you doing, hon? How you doing? Oh. I said you had a gift. I said you had a gift. I don't remember. I'm not in that zone right now. I have to get in that zone. I'm not in that zone right now. Okay. Oh, yeah. Where you guys viewing from? Can y'all put y'all, viewed states in the chat there? Oh, you're in Wisconsin. Okay. Kimberly is in Wisconsin. Interesting. You the UK. Okay, Alexis. Charles, Texas. Excuse me, I'm sorry, you guys. All right, let's go ahead and get to the show. All right, just want to say hello, my truth seekers. Get comfortable. You are now tuned in to a show that does not talk to you like you're slow, confused, or easily distracted. No, 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 no. Over here, we break things down in real language with real context for real people. I'm your host, Keisha, and tonight we're covering everything they think you're too busy to understand. We got politics, world news, in plain English so you can understand it, royal updates without, the fluff, all that stuff, and then celebrity stories without the nonsense. And then, of course, my favorite part of the show, Brain Food, where we stop scrolling, stop reaching, and actually think for a minute. Because over here, we don't just consume information, we digest it. So grab your tea, your notebook, your common sense, your coffee, your wine, whatever the hell you drink, because tonight's show is going to feed your mind, shake your perspective, and maybe even make you question a few things at the end of the show. Because you know me. Now, I'm trying to figure out a good algorithm. Considering I cover all subject, it's hard for them to depict what algorithm to put me on. And I can't just stick with one subject because I get bored talking about that subject. And I know a lot of stuff about a lot of things. I'm not going to go and be narrow-minded and only talk about one particular subject. I guess I could just narrow-mind it down to true crime and politics and history or something like that. I guess I could break it down to that and not talk about celeb gossip. But people ask me to talk about celeb gossip. I mean, how can I not talk about stuff they tell me to do? I'm going off deep end here. But anyway, I just thought I should say that. Let's get on with the show. You see the date on here. I ain't even bother changing the date. This is how crazy it's been for real. I ain't even bother changing the date. All right, so there seemed to be a map. You said you don't swim in the female pool, but you're a beautiful. Aw, thank you. You said, hold up, are you talking about me or yourself? Oh, you said I don't. Okay, I misread it, sweetie. Sorry, I'm doing like multiple things here. You said, Keisha, I don't swim in the female pool, but you are. You said, I'm a beautiful star. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. I didn't read it. incorrectly. I thought I was talking. I was like, oh no, she giving me a compliment. I have to read that again. Okay, thanks. Thanks, Kimberly. I really appreciate it, huh? And I like your hair in your picture. It's cute. Okay, so a massive winter storm is sweeping across the Midwest, Great Lakes, and Northeast. And it seemed like the meteorologists warned it could intensify into a bomb cyclone tonight. Y'all know what a bomb cyclone is? A bomb cyclone is seriously, it's you see that picture? And I had AI draw me a picture of a bomb cyclone. That's how it looked, like that. As you see right there. Seriously. So you can see whirlwinds of kind of like a tsunami of a storm. Okay. So it is seeing thousands of flights delayed or canceled. So if people are flying back from their holiday and, getting ready to spend some kind of, one-on-one with their loved ones, I hope everything cools down and they're able to bring in the appointed new year, calendar year, because it's not technically new year, not the nature's new year, but the calendar year with their loved one. By all means. I don't think the calendar year holds any kind of emotional or cosmic connection or difference. I'm gonna be real with you. It's about nature holds cosmic connection, and we'll discuss that a little later. I'll break that down to you a little later. We're not gonna get into that right now. Anyway, so thousands of flights are delayed or canceled. Blizzard conditions from Wisconsin to Maine, dangerous ice, flooding, rain, and strong winds. Travel advisories across multiple states. I'm gonna be real with you. I know all about Wisconsin, Chicago, all those cold climates. Okay, that is nothing new to me. All right, so I grew up in Wisconsin. Yes, girl, Wisconsin, Milltown, Milwaukee girl here. So trust me, that cold weather is not crazy, but seriously, they have a one bit of snow in hot ass LA. It's not hot right now. They are seriously, I'm telling you, it have not been snow, but you have any snow in a hot climate, they are crazy. I'm telling you. Now, Charles, you in Texas. Now I heard that is it snow down there where you at? Do y'all get snow every now and then? I hear y'all get snow sometimes and they shut down the whole state or something like that. Is that how it is down there? I'm just curious. But yeah, the storm has already caused over 6,000 flight delays and hundreds of cancellations. Now, I have to say this here, okay? It's one of those storms where the weather apps can't save you. If you don't have to travel, just don't. Oh, yes, but not lately? Okay. You said yes, but not lately? Okay. Got you. And I bet they shut down a whole town, don't they, Charles? The whole town is probably shut down just because a little snow. People are special, I'm telling you. It's kind of hilarious, especially considering I was raised in Wisconsin. It's pretty funny. Anyway, all right, so let's move on here. All right, okay, then we have the Ukraine hit Russia hard with drones. Now, Ukraine sent drones deep into Russia and blew up more than 40 Russian military planes. Now, that's a huge, big deal because those planes are expensive and hard to replace. At the same time, Ukraine and the U.S. are talking about possible peace deals. So basically, they're fighting and talking at the same time. They've been talking about this talking and fighting with Ukraine and Russia. Do you know how many years they've been doing this? Can anyone in the comment section guess how many years have Ukraine and Russia been fighting? Can anyone tell me in the comment section? How long do you think Ukraine and Russia have been fighting? I put one on the clock. I'll go ahead and put a clock up so you guys can, let me know how long do you think Russia and Ukraine have been fighting. Now, the actual year. She says it's the 80s. No, not that kind of fighting, girl. We can go hundreds of years for that. Kimberly's so funny. No. I'm talking about this particular war. I'll go ahead and put 30 seconds on the clock and see if someone can come up and tell me, because I said in my last live show, even though it was like sketchy. Okay, Charles. Okay. Okay, so let me see. Let's check out the answers. Charles said 2017. Okay. 2017, Charles. Okay. Alexis says 2013. How you doing, Alexis? And we have Kimberly at 2011. I'm sure there's more people, but people, they don't like to comment for whatever reason. Yeah, I want to interact if y'all want your name up here. Okay, I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna tell you who's correct. And you can still guess until I actually reveal the answer. 2009? No. I'll let you know. Okay, you see, Russia first attacked Ukraine in February of 2014 when it secretly sent troops into this little Crimea thing. Okay, and took control of the region. So if we count from 2014 to 2025, that's about 11 years. So it looks like the closest person was Alexis. Alexis, you were the closest person to guess it. So 2014 was when they actually, started fighting and all that malarkey. Let me see if I can find some hooray music for you, girl. Congratulations. High five to Alexis. And I got some clap stuff for you too, hon. Here we go. Congratulations. So Alexis was close. You were close, Alexis. Okay. So 2014 is when Kimberly said, way to go. So 2014 is when the attack was, from 2014 to 2025. So 11 years of conflict. That means to take over Crimea, or Crimea, however they pronounce it, and the fighting in the Donbass. I heard it pronounced several ways. I heard it pronounced Donbass and Donbass. Seriously. So the fighting in Donbass region and the early years of the conflict before the full invasion. And then Russia launched a massive full invasion. However, okay, the full invasion happened in 2022. That's what everyone remember from 2022. So if we count from 2022 to 2025, the full-blown in terms like dropping drones and doing some action, it's been about 4 years of a full-scale war. Okay, but the initial was 11 years ago in 2014. So this is the battle most people think about today. So to break it down in simple terms, Ukraine and Russia have been fighting for 11 years total. The big full war everyone sees on the news has been going on for almost 4 years. However, 11 years, and they still haven't made peace. They still haven't. It's been 11 It has been 11 years and they still haven't made peace. Why would anyone want to stay in any of those places? I would be trying to move out of Ukraine, trying to move out of Russia. Like, y'all go ahead and go at it. Blow up the whole town. Just leave me out of it. I'd be trying to move to the nearby countries or towns and not going anywhere near Ukraine or Russia, because you got these two men, mainly Putin, want to fight, want to take over like we're medieval times. I would not want to stay there at all. Like, I'd be so out of there, seriously, for real. Because no, I couldn't stay there. Heck, no. I don't know how anyone can stay there. I've been there moved years ago. 11 years? Please. You said I think I watched a David. Oh, you did? Yeah, I'm sure you're. I'm sure they're talking about it everywhere. You know what I mean? Okay, so move on here to the next subject here. Okay, then we have this story here. Yeah, I heard about the whole Trump, well, not the Trump thing, but you heard about the Trump meeting Zelensky. He's supposed to be meeting Zelensky. Let me see if I have that slideshow for you. Yeah. Yeah, let's talk about that. Trump's supposed to be meeting Zelensky here. Remember, he's supposed to be meeting Zelensky today. Not today, but I'm not sure when he's supposed to meet it. But President Trump met with the Ukrainian President Zelensky in Florida yesterday. I'm sorry. Why would he meet Trump at the Mar-a-Lago? I couldn't have met him at the Mar-a-Lago. I wouldn't even trust him at the Mar-a-Lago. Seriously. And is it good or is that even legal or protocol for a president to meet another foreign president at their own personal property? Isn't that is there a rule against that? I'm not sure of all the dialogues when it comes to presidents or anything of nature, but I just feel like there's like some kind of security breach or some kind of protocol that wasn't followed there. I don't know. I have to look that up. But anyway, so Trump met with Vladimir Zelensky in Florida yesterday to discuss a 15-year U.S. security guarantee for Ukraine. Meanwhile, Russia claims Ukraine tried to drone strike one of Putin's residents. A claim Ukraine denies this, of course. They said he did not do this, whatever. That's what so basically, just want to point that out. Ukraine said they did not do this. They don't know who did this. He didn't do this. He don't know what the hell Putin residents are talking about. So I just want to go ahead and put that out there. So this is one of those seriously global moments where everybody's watching everybody, apparently. And I do have some clips here. Go ahead and take these clips out. But here, hold on just for a second, you guys. I need to do something right quick. Just give me a moment. Okay, sorry about that. Hey, Deborah, how you doing? You said a conflict of interest. It's definitely a conflict of interest, right? Okay, so before we get on to that, and we're going to get on to that in just a moment, let's talk about this this bomb Nigeria thing. Now, this happened on the 25th. Okay, according to U.S. Today, apparently Al Jazeera or Hazira, however you want to pronounce it, Time. This reportedly happened and it has been pretty much broadcast in Politico and Time Magazine and Truth Out. President Donald Trump ordered U.S. military airstrikes on ISIS-linked targets in northwest Nigeria on Christmas. Now, it seems that these strikes happened in Sokoto State in the northwest, I can about to say west, but northwest region in Nigeria. Now, it seemed like it was near the border of Niger. Now, an area where U.S. officials say ISIS-affiliated militants have been active. That's what they claim it was active. But I'm hearing kind of conflict of stories where that these so-called Christians or whoever they were trying to target was not actually there. So the stories are definitely conflicted here. But anyway, so why the strikes were ordered, according to administration, it seems that President Trump said he ordered the strikes because ISIS militants were targeting and viciously killing innocent Christians. Apparently, he took some kind of rumor from Nicki Minaj, but it was told that he already knew about the rumor, and Nicki Minaj just kind of made it viral when she talked about it. So everyone is going after Nicki Minaj, aside from the fact, but we get into her little, debacle later. So And that's the killer part. Trump is not even Christian. He think he's God. So I don't even know why he would care if Christians are killed. And if this is happening, this is very, very bad. But I don't know why Trump would care when he's not a Christian. He's not a Christian, but I guess it's some kind of political ploy. So of course he's going to act like he cares. So he describes the operation as powerful and deadly. Numerous perfect strikes, is he calling it, and warned more to come if violence continues. Now, people was like, oh my gosh, are we going to get in a full-blown scale war now? Now, here's what Nigeria said. Nigeria government confirmed that they had a coordination with the U.S. They approved the strikes, and they shared intelligence with U.S. officials. So this was a planned strike, apparently, and they agreed to strike whoever they claim is doing whatever. That's what that was all about. I'm not sure how that's true, but that's what they were saying. Now, Nigeria also emphasized the violence is not solely religious, and they're saying both Christians and Muslims have been victims. The situation is more complex than a simple Christian genocide, apparently, narrative. I'm assuming they're trying to stop, even though Trump is not a Christian, but he has to satisfy his Christian support because most of the Maga team are Christians. So what experts are saying, security analysts told this Al Jazeera, however you pronounce this person's name, and USA Today. Now, the militant group likely targeted is called a Lakurawa, linked to an ISIS offshoot. So the area struck is not where most Christians farmer attacks occur, which means they don't normally hang around there. So the reason they bombed that area is still smoke and mirrors, and they're not giving us the authentic information. Are we surprised? No, we are not. Now, the conflict in Nigeria involves criminal gangs, insurgents, and local disputes, not just religious violence. Now, why this is significant? It marked a major escalation of U.S. military involvement in West Africa. Trump has now ordered strikes in multiple regions since returning to office, and he has to get approved by Congress, which he did not do. Okay, which means he's in trouble again. But they don't punish him anyway, so I don't even know why we even having this discussion. He does what he wants. They never punish him. So legal experts are questioning whether he had authority to strike Nigeria without congressional approval. Remember, I just said that. Because they supposed to approve any strikes so you can let the rest of the NATO know so they can beat on alarm when they have to act. You know what I'm saying? But he just does what he wants because he thinks he's a king. He don't know anything about protocol. He just said, I'm the president, I'm the God of the universe, and you can't tell me what to do. If I want to kill innocent people with conflicting and not verified information, I can do that. Thank you very much. I'm beautiful. So to sum it up, on Christmas Day, President Trump ordered U.S. airstrikes on ISIS-linked targets in northwest Nigeria. The first time the U.S. has carried out a direct combat strikes there. The first time. Yeah. So the administration says the militants were killing Christians, but Nigerian officials and security experts say the situation is far more complex, which means the story wasn't even verified on what the hell he was targeting or what we know. So involving multiple armed guards, not just religious violence. So it was a lot of other violence, and these Christians they claim was killed, which means they was believing popular news media without confirming. First of all, why is that the result to whatever rumor is going on anyway? So you just drop bombs on people with whatever beliefs they have. No one can have freedoms. If this isn't a new age, seriously in transition, I don't know what it is. I told you it's going to be overlaps of the old age Pisces and the new age Aquarius. Aquarius is free-spirited, and Pisces was more solely on Christianity. Told you it's going to be a conflict of both of this. People trying to be spiritual and the old age trying to desperately keep it the same. We're going to see a lot more of that. Okay, just want to point that out. Here are some clips.
President Trump announcing that there has been a Christmas Day strike, an American strike in Nigeria, targeting ISIS elements there. We didn't get too many details other than this is in the northwestern part of Nigeria. According to President Trump, we're basically going off of his Truth Social post, which he just put out. But he announced that he's doing this as a result of Christians in Nigeria being targeted by ISIS elements. Now, we know that for months, there has been sectarian violence in Nigeria. We know that Christians have died at the hands of terrorist groups like ISIS, like Boko Haram. There have also been a lot of Muslims killed by both of those terrorist organizations as well in Nigeria. President Trump specifically naming Christians, saying that is the reason that the U.S. struck on Christmas Day, and that strikes will continue, the president says, if Christians continue to be targeted. Again, that coming just from President Trump's Truth Social. We're going to continue to try to learn more, but we just got that into our newsroom, obviously breaking right now, something that we need to keep our eye on if we've got American military assets being used now in 2 different parts of the world actively.
So America bombed Nigeria today. America bombed Northwest Nigeria, claiming that they needed to get the terrorists out. Imagine if a country like Nigeria or anywhere else bombed America to get the Christian radical extremists out. I'm just saying. Where is Turning Point USA? Where's Nicki Minaj with all the things happening in Israel? The Christians went back to Bethlehem to celebrate Christmas for the first time in years since the conflict was going on. And the Israeli police were arresting Palestinian Christians. So where are you guys at? Where's the same energy for Israel? Where is this happening at in Israel? And best believe the bombing in Nigeria is not about people Nigerians being harmed. It's about oil.
Look at what is being done to Christians all around the world.
It's about oil and it's about the region. But where is Nicki Minaj? Where
She's
are you?
not even a Christian.
Because you are a Christian that's fighting for Christians, right? What about the Christians in the birthland of Jesus Christ? Things that make you go, Merry Christmas.
Unbelievable.
Here's everything that's happened in Nigeria in the last 12 hours. The US has confirmed airstrikes on ISIS-linked targets in northwest Nigeria. President Trump said the strikes were carried out under his orders, with Sokoto State confirmed as the location. US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said Nigeria's government was aware and cooperated through intelligence sharing, while Nigeria's Foreign Affairs Ministry confirmed ongoing security collaboration. Residents of Jabo community in Tambuwal local government area of Sokoto State fled their homes after burning debris believed to be rocket parts landed in the area following the airstrikes. President Trump also warned that further military action could follow if terrorist attacks continue in parts of Nigeria, describing the strikes as targeted operations against extremist groups. The Lagos State Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, has ordered the demolition of the 25-story Great Nigeria Insurance House on Martin Street, Lagos Island, which was engulfed by fire on Wednesday. In Jigawa State, the Federal Road Safety Corps confirmed that 11 people lost their lives and 12 others were injured in a lone vehicle crash along the Ringim Sankara Beguwa Road. The presidency has denied reports claiming President Bola Tinubu replaced his chief of staff, Femi Gbajabiamila. Officials described the reports as completely false and urged the public to ignore unverified claims. Full details of every story are on my WhatsApp channel link in bio. By the way, if you want more daily updates like this, I've tagged another solid news page in the description. Go check them out.
And if you want to follow these individuals, go ahead and do your screenshot. There it is. Have fun. Thank you. Hello. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, moving on. Okay, so it seemed like a lot of people were killed in Gaza. Reports say 20 to 30 Palestinians were shot and killed near a place where people were trying to get food and supplies. Very sad. Israel says that they didn't do it. Like, I didn't do it. I don't know who was killed in Gaza. I didn't do it. My name is Bennett. I'm not in it. Other countries say the situation is getting worse. In simple terms, people trying to help. Let's break this down another way. People trying to get help ended up getting hurt, and everyone is pointing their fingers. Are we surprised? It's like little children. You did it. No, you did it. Just ridiculously childish. Everyone said, I didn't do it. I didn't drop it. What? Who killed who? I don't know. That's literally what they're, you know what? I'm done. Please be safe down there. It's very sad. And then we have the Poland election that's done. And it seems like Poland election is over and is Naraki won. Is that his full name? Seriously? Naraki. This gentleman here, he won. It was a very, let's get into that. We need to really get into that because it was a very close call, apparently. It was by the hair. I mean, it was seriously a nail biter, for this particular race. So congratulations to whoever this man is. Hopefully he leads their country into a positive path and not so controversial and the crap that we're dealing with down here. But anyway, moving on. Okay. The UK is building more submarines and weapons. Every country, continent around the world right now is really upgrading their military. They're really upgrading their weapons and things of that nature. Everyone is preparing for war, and that is a fact. Oh, yeah. So apparently the UK is building more submarines and weapons. United Kingdom announced they're building up to 12 new attack submarines and expanding their weapons factories. They're gearing up because the world feels tense right now. They said things is getting out of the hand. There's no unity. There's no structure. It's just they're afraid. So they're preparing. Now, these are submarines that goes in the water that attack you from, well, you get the drift. I'm not going to get into details, but you have to get the drift. Okay, so Turkey stopped planned ISIS attacks. Turkey arrested 115 people. They say they were planning ISIS attacks for Christmas and New Year's Eve events, but they, stopped it. So I'm glad they stopped it before something bad happened. So that's fantastic. I'm going through these real quick because I have a lot more show to go. Brazil, I'm going to have to do this a little, I'm going to have to get in details with this because we need to follow kind of an example of how they did it in Brazil. So Brazil ex-president had surgery, right? He had endorsed his son. This is his son. I believe that's his son. Damn, they look alike. Anyway, that's his son. So his son, now this is where it gets really crazy. Okay, so Brazil former president Bolsonaro, had surgery for hernia and it went well. And apparently because he had a hernia surgery is the reason why we're hearing about this right now. Aside from that, we would not heard a goddamn thing. So he had hernia surgery, which I don't understand why people, when they say they have hernia surgery, is such a, oh my gosh, we need to get balloons. We need to call a pastor. We need to call a funeral home. We need to make sure the will is updated and all that stuff. I can understand anesthesia can be a little bit risky. Like me, if I go on anesthesia, it's kind of risky. And we really have a history of, even my mom, stuff like that. And me, I have to go on anesthesia. When I woke up from it, I was throwing up blood and stuff. So it's really risky going under anesthesia for me. So I can understand that particular process. But on a normal basis and a normal procedure, hernia is not that bad. I had 2 hernias, one on my bottom left and one on my bottom right stomach here. Okay. I had one when I was 12 and another when I was 14 years old. It wasn't that bad. It's probably because I was so young. And I understand when people of older age get these hernia surgeries and they would be covering for a long freaking time. I said, it's just a hernia surgery from straining and lifting up heavy objects. Why are you acting like you having a kidney removed or something? It's a hernia surgery. It's a hernia surgery. They would be covered for a long time. Lying. They're lying. I'm sorry. Unless you can give me some other alternative, it's not even that serious. Seriously, and I think the doctor will tell you that unless they have like conditions that will cause the surgery or any other surgery to be a little bit more risky than in normal circumstances, is not. So we're hearing about this because he had a hernia surgery, and I guess it was just news for us to hear about this. So this man here had hernia surgery. Here's where where we should literally follow this whole little pattern. Now he's in jail for overturning an election, but from the hospital he said, "My son should run for president next." So this political drama continues. Yeah, it seems that this Bolsonaro is in jail for trying to overturn the 2022 election. They actually investigate down there. So according to multiple news sources, Brazil's former president Jair, I think his name is Jair or something like that, Bolsonaro was convicted of plotting a coup after losing the 2022 election. So he was sentenced to 27 years in prison for basically trying to rig the election. So he was accused of trying to stop the new president, Lula, from taking office by, cheating. This is how they run things down there versus what the fuck we do down here. So he was linked to a plan involving and interfering with the vote count and mobilizing supporters to overturn the election. Results. So sources confirm this man here. So sources confirm he began serving his sentence in late 2025. One report states he was convicted of plotting to overturn the 2022 election and sentenced to 27 years. Another says he was jailed for attempting to overturn the election results and undermine the democratic transition. Pretty much what our president did. So to break it down in layman terms, Bolsonaro lost the election. He didn't want to leave office. He and his allies tried to stop the new president from taking power. But Brazil's Supreme Court, who actually do their goddamn job, said that was basically a coup attempt. So they locked his ass up. Yes, they locked him up. They actually investigated and locked them up versus what they do here where they try to say nothing happened. The election was prominent. The count was perfect. And they don't want to look bad. So basically sending an undermining secret message. If you have the technology and the sources and connections, you can rig the election, become president. Just want to point that out. That's basically the message that the United States is saying, that your vote don't mean shit. You have money and you have cyber geeks. You can rig the election too, just like a certain someone did twice. So anyway, so you see, they investigate there though. The U.S. system is built to move very slowly. I'm gonna break down a whole US-based system when it comes to this bullshit. So the American legal system designed to investigate for months or years or never, gather evidence, go through multiple courts, allow appeals, and avoid rushing political cases so they won't look bad. And people undermining the voting process. Okay. So the president who was actually accused of rigging the election can be in office while they're still investigating and still fucking up shit. And by the time they finish doing the investigation, he probably done finished his term already. This is how stupid our system is down here. So I'm not even done here. So the international system prioritizes process over speed when it comes to our system. Meanwhile, in Brazil, the Supreme Court can directly investigate, and he be in jail while they investigate, charge, and then sentence his ass. In the U.S., those powers are split between the Congress, the Department of Justice, which is also known as DOJ, state courts, federal courts, juries, and then media outlets, and then money, and then all this other stuff. So no single institution can move quickly on its own, which is why the process takes so goddamn long. Okay? So the U.S. has more layers of protection for political figures. American law gives former president, elected officials, and candidates extra layers of legal protection and due process, which means they can rig stuff and be in office and nothing will happen to them. That means cases take longer, require more evidence to the point they just throw it out because who the fuck cares? You done served this 4-year sentence while you're investigating. In Brazil, no, you're going to jail and determine the outcome. We'll think about whether you are eligible to even run again. That's what Brazil does. Yeah. The U.S. is extremely polarized, and any legal action against political figures becomes a national fight, a media war, a partisan battle. That slows everything down even more. Every country handles political accountability different, of course. Brazil's system allows fast, centralized action. We need to adapt Brazil's way when it comes to these political figures. It shouldn't be all these goddamn layers, because we be dealing with what we're dealing with right now. We're losing allies. NATO is being pretty much defumbled and just all over the fucking place. We are at risk of dying over here. We are pretty much on close of a brink of a economic collapse right now. But, hey, who cares? Don't want to, compromise the voting process. So anyway, so that's what it is. To break it down, Brazil can move fast because their courts have more power. The U.S. moves slow because the system is built to avoid quick political decisions. It's not that the U.S. can't, it's that the system is designed not to. So that means people like Trump and his crew can rig the election. Yes, rig the election, restructuring the federal government, like reconstruct the entire fucking federal government, get the lawyer who convicted you sued or try to get you disbarred, okay? Get your trafficking partner and the eyewitness killed and make it look like a suicide each time in office. Yeah, we're freaking screwed here in the U.S. Let's move the fuck on. All right, so you said your hernia, you said me too, had hernia. It's not that hard. I had one when I was younger working in Detroit tank plant. They are full. I know, right? It is, seriously. In the hospital for making all them tubes. What the hell? You know, whatever. Got the whatever. We got whatever. Let's see how whatever. It doesn't even matter. All right, so moving on to North Korea here. North Korea released photos of what looks like a nearly finished nuclear-powered submarine. Why it matters? A nuclear submarine can hide underwater. Remember I told you for months and launch missiles, nuclear-powered. Yeah. So they can launch missiles, which makes other countries nervous. So they can, get you from the water. Yeah, like the ground. So they launched a missile and take out a whole town and you won't even know because they're in the water. That's what North Korea is preparing for because you know who is in office and they know he's a loose cannon. So they're preparing for anything because the person in office is making them nervous. And Congress is not trying to do anything. If they want to redo or overturn everything he did, you need to get the election counted. Those ballots are on hand for 22 months. We still have time. We still have some years, some change. So anyway, I just want to say that. So yes, everyone is preparing for war thanks to the crazy cycle in the White House. All right. So anyway, Turkey stopped planning ISIS attacks. Turkey arrested 115 people. They say were planning ISIS attacks for Christmas and New Year's event. So yay. Wonderful. I'm glad they did. They stopped. I'm glad they did. Wonderful. Why everyone trying to attack them? I'm telling you, this is going to be a religious war. It's going to be a religious war. I'm telling you, we about to get into it. Oh, yeah. Homeland Security raids in Minneapolis. Homeland Security is investigating over 30 sites in Minneapolis for what they called a rampant fraud, including child care and other federal programs. So they're going in. They need to come down here, in LA and all my other little home and all y'all states too, because they're doing that shit here. So this is being described as one of the biggest fraud crackdowns in Minnesota history. Good. And do cybercrime too. And YouTube blacklisting. Do that too. Oh, hell no, votes don't count here. The electric votes, I know. They need to investigate their asses too. You are so right, girl. Deborah, absolutely. I have to give you some love. Matter of fact, let's put that back up there. I have to give Deborah some love. Hold on, where are my emojis? Hold on, let's give Deborah some love here. Let's give her some love. Where is it? What can I give Deborah here? Here you go, girl. You get a salute. Bam for you. Absolutely. And a little applause here. Let's give her some applause too. And the electoral college, they are just, you know what? I'm not going to go there because that'd be a whole nother fight. Anyway, so Texas teen missing, believed to be in imminent danger. Texas, what is he? A lot of crap happened on Christmas. I'm telling you. This fight with this religious thing is just the beginning. We're going to see a lot of religious fight, spiritual war, whatever you want to call it, whatever. We're going to see a lot of that going on, I'm telling you. So this Texas teen Camila Mendoza Olmos has been missing since Christmas Eve and is believed to be in imminent danger according to authorities. Excuse me. This is her photo. So if you are in Texas, If you have saw this young girl, this young lady, please report it to the local authorities. Okay? I was gonna put a video of it. Here's the video, not the video, but here is a picture. Go ahead and take a screenshot if you can and post it on your social media feed if you can and share it with your local authorities. Okay. I was gonna put a clip up there, but I didn't, so sorry about that. Okay, here's another safety warning for my truth seekers here. Hospitals in the Raleigh area are limiting visitors due to major spike in flu cases. Children under 12 are restricted in many facilities. Under 12, huh? Interesting. So the flu season is hitting harder than expected. Protect your elders and your babies. So again, we're going to probably deal with some kind of epidemic. And again, I'm suspicious about this epidemic because they're always trying to separate the young children from their parents. And you can't go back there. So we don't know what they're doing to our kids. You know what? That's a whole nother subject because I got a lot of suspicions what happened over COVID where parents weren't allowed with their kids and their kids were stuck in the hospital, drugged up. Underage fucking kids, unsupervised in the fucking hospital during COVID, drugged up with whoever with these, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and no, I'm not gonna talk about that right now. So this is what they're doing at this current moment. You know, that's another subject. I don't want to go there, but just want to point that out. Please protect your kids with this alleged flu that cannot be cured with medicine. Yeah, that's a whole nother subject. I'm not even going there right now, but just be careful out there, okay? And masks don't help. I'm just saying. I ain't even wear a mask through the whole COVID season. I ain't take that stupid shot either. And I'm fine, but you know, whatever. Let's move on to more subjects here. All right, so royal news. Let's talk about royal news here. Okay, so in royal news here, and this is kind of old. Remember, I had made this script on the 26th. So King Charles did the Christmas walk with the whole family except Prince Andrew. They're keeping him out of sight. Good. They should have done that when he initially got charged. But the late Queen Elizabeth is a Taurus, and they hate going out of the normal routine and tradition. There are some traditional people. They like everything to be in order. Nothing cannot be out of their comfort zone. And it makes them nervous. So the late Queen Elizabeth was prone to tradition. You walk in line. No one stay out of line. Prince Andrew is here. I don't care what he did. I don't care if I see 15 videos of him raping babies. Who to give a damn? He's walking with me. And she paid his fines. She paid his court fees. She gave him room and board. She paid for security. This is what the late Queen Elizabeth did. Absolutely. So King Charles, he did the Christmas walk with the whole family. He didn't get all fancy up. He just wore the same old brown, little wool coat there and call it a day. Like, okay, it still works. I'm still wearing it. Why change it? Just saying. And Charles' Christmas speech was all about unity and diversity. Diversity, that's hilarious. So basically, he's saying, y'all calm down and be nice to each other. He talking about diversity, or are we talking about diversity? Okay, that's hilarious. Okay, so he's saying diversity, please. This family is talking about diversity, their history, whatever. Kate Middleton, they're saying she's the anchor. She's the one holding the royal image together. They crowned her the PR. They need to crown the PR. They need to give the PR agent a serious crown, her own castle, because I don't know who this PR person, she, he, they, whatever, they know how to swing a damn story. They're saying that Kate Middleton is holding the family together. This is the Colgate Smile woman who always smiling every 3.5 seconds. They saying that she is keeping the family together. And apparently they're trying to start a new fashion trend with the plaid, with the Scottish, whatever plaid. Not going to happen. We are not following this trend. It's ugly. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be rude and hateful because I'm not a hateful person. Seriously, I'm not. I'm a very loving person. But I can't nope. This is not rolling for me. I'm sorry. I can't roll with this. This is not hot. This is not hot. Nope. You know who's really looking good in this picture right now? Camila. I'm liking the coat. I'm liking the brooch. I'm liking the hat. Camila be wearing some really nice hats. Now, I don't know her story, and I don't know Camila's story either. I only know what the media tell us, so everything we have heard could be completely false. I don't know their story. I've never met these people. We only know what the media says, and that could be completely altered. But Camila be wearing some nice hats. I don't know her true character other than she's the mistress, but the woman can wear some hats, okay? We got to give her. Matter of fact, she need a little love here too, because where's my, hold on, let me see what I have for Camila here. I got to give her a love because she be wearing some pretty freaking hats. Y'all like her hat? Please tell me in the comment section y'all like her hat. Y'all have to say if y'all like her hat or not. Is her hat cute? I mean, am I the only person thinking her hat is cute? I'm probably the only person thinking that, I'm sure. I like her hat. I'm sorry. Yeah, see, that's me right now with the hat. Let me quit. All right, so anyway, moving right along here. So Beatrice and Eugene showed up, but their parents were nowhere to be found. That tells us everything. I mean, they're probably saying, fuck, whatever. They're like, okay, I'm not going to not show up because my dad or whoever, I mean, not doing that. And this is Beatrice. She's like, I'm going to show. My dad is a perv, and, I agree that he's a fucking perv. So even royal kids wore hand-me-downs. That code has been in rotation for almost a decade, apparently. So one of the royal kids is wearing some hand-me-downs. So, and good, save money. And then they tried to throw Harry and Meghan under the bus, saying because they got invited to the Kris Jenner's party, and I guess they were jealous because they didn't get invited. So they're saying, okay, that ruined any chances of them coming back. Who said they wanted to come back to this royal family, walk down this stupid path and go to damn church? I mean, they didn't say that. They never even said they cared. They never, never mind. Here are some videos right here.
A few weeks ago, the Queen and I were delighted to make a
We should have expected that after what has been a very interesting year in 2025, even the royal family walking to Christmas Day church services would have been equally interesting. There were shakeups, there were people excluded, there were people included that we were previously told not to look for. Let's go through who was there, who wasn't, and of course, what they were all wearing. Because I'm sure this is who you are here to see, right? King Charles in his decades-old overcoat, and Queen Camilla shaking things up in a red coat. The whole style theme this year was very, very interesting. Everyone was sort of in these warm tones. You had a lot of red, burgundy, and brown, as well as some tartan. Princess of Wales went for a sort of unexpected look in this brown tartan coat. This is actually a rewear and a very poignant one. She wore this coat on January 14th of this year when she paid a visit to the Royal Marsden Hospital's Cancer Center, where she told us she herself received cancer treatment in 2024. And on the same day when she wore this coat, she revealed that she was in remission from cancer. So repeating the coat on Christmas makes a very nice bookend effect to 2025, which sorely needed, shall we say. One person not present, don't worry, this is an old photo, was Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, who of course had his titles and styles stripped this fall. A slew of Prince Andrew images were included in a new drop of Jeffrey Epstein related files this past month. One of them seems to have been taken at Sandringham, the house where the royals celebrate Christmas. That's, oh my God, yikes. There was some back and forth on whether Andrew would be at the royals' Christmas. It was never really a question of whether he would appear in public, but sources say he has been completely uninvited this year. Having him walk at Christmas would have been just a complete unforced error on the monarchy's part. They finally seem to have gotten the message that we do not want to see or hear from Andrew ever again. Although I don't think he's excommunicated from the family entirely, I do think we will be spared looking at him at big public events from here on out, even if they are family gatherings. That being said, there was also a lot of will they, won't they in the lead up to Christmas about Andrew's daughters, Princess Eugenie and Princess Beatrice. As you can see, these are new photos. They were at the Christmas festivities at Sandringham today, and they were both kind of coordinated, again, in this tartan in neutral brownish purplish shades. I love this outfit so much on Eugenie. It's giving heritage, tradition, British craftsmanship, which I'm sure is the goal. Across the board in general, remember I said we had these warm tones, those touches of tartan. Even if there wasn't like a group chat, a WhatsApp group, talking about our fashion choices, coordinating between all of the senior royals, I am willing to bet that a message went out saying the Queen will be wearing a red coat. Please coordinate accordingly. Just because the neutral tones were so prevalent, and it creates this very cohesive and warm, notably, image for the family. At a time when they really do need to remind people they are a family. Yes, this is the monarchy, it's the capital R, capital F royal family, but it's also a lowercase f family. Princess Charlotte, for once, was coordinated not just with her mom in this tan and brown coat, which is, oh my God, so grown up. That coat also enabled her to kind of coordinate with the rest of the family as well, creating not only this cohesive look, but also a down-to-earth one. It's brown. Come on. I'm not trying to read too much into the fashion choices of a child, but like I think there was intention here, as there always is with the royals. Other notable looks in this vein included Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, who was really just serving Samantha Parkington realness. I liked this a lot, and I also liked Lady Louise Windsor's outfit, even though it didn't nail it for me. She is young, she's probably experimenting. I do not believe that this family.
She dressed better than the rest of them people.
It is fun. It is festive. I'm not mad about it. Just a look back at some of Kate's most notable fashion moments at Christmas, including the last time she wore this all-over tartan. This would have been 2017. Her first Christmas with the royals, 2011, also included burgundy. Even though there's a lot of talk now about burgundy being like a trendy color for winter. Oh my God, Kate hops on a trend. It's actually been in her royal wardrobe for a long time. I think it's a very regal, grounding color without being too over the top. And of course, this coat has been described as burgundy. I read it a little bit more as brown, but isn't this just like a more mature, again, down to earth, grounded is the word I keep coming back to, especially in comparison to the last few years, which have been very cool toned by comparison and have included a lot of coordination between the members of Will and Kate's like nuclear family, kind of creating their own separate unit. Last year, we had this green and navy coordinated tartan moment, and it really set the Waleses apart from the bunch. This, I think, was also very intentional to get these photographs of the family in what was described as a very, very challenging year. And I just look at the difference between then and now. Kate leaving Christmas services not with her husband and children, but with her daughter and her daughter's female cousins. So interesting. So interesting. Showing unity, breaking down the hierarchy. Because I also noticed, did you catch this? Will and Kate were not right behind the king and queen as they normally are when they walk to church. Even in private, the royal family observes rank and hierarchy, like position within the line of succession, to, I would say, an outdated degree. And we have recently that this is something that Prince William especially wants to do away with. Gifts between family members are even handed out in order of precedence. Like that is something that I think has no place in a modern family, let alone a modern society. It seems that the family itself is starting to agree with me. King Charles and Princess Anne, the hardest working royals. King Charles was actually just crowned the hardest working royal. I think that was also intentional as he undergoes his own cancer struggle. He is leading the pack with his sister Anne, and right behind them, Princess Eugenie. Not necessarily a pointed display of support for the York sisters, if I had to guess, but I think it's more generally like a closing of ranks, a show of support among everybody. Christmas is one of the times of the year when the royal family can count on just unfettered goodwill, positive feelings. They bring out the kids, they appear as...
Yeah, moving on.
Well, Britain's King Charles emphasized courage and unity in his annual Christmas address. Marking 80 years since the end of World War II, he urged citizens to never lose sight of the values which helped them come together then. The king also attended Christmas church services and greeted the crowds. He was joined by family, but notably absent the king's brother Andrew, who was recently stripped of his royal titles over his ties to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein.
I were delighted to make a state visit. A few weeks ago, the Queen and I were delighted to make a state visit to the Vatican, where we prayed with Pope Leo in a historic moment of spiritual unity. Together, we celebrated the Jubilee theme, Pilgrims of Hope. Pilgrimage is a word less used today, but it has particular significance for our modern world, and especially at Christmas. It is about journeying forward into the future, while also journeying back to remember the past and learn from its lessons. We did this during the summer as we celebrated the 80th anniversaries of VE and VJ Day. The end of the Second World War is now remembered by fewer and fewer of us as the years pass. But the courage and sacrifice of our servicemen and women, and the way communities came together in the face of such great challenge, carry a timeless message for us all. These are the values which have shaped our country and the Commonwealth. As we hear of division, both at home and abroad, they are the values of which we must never lose sight. For instance, it is impossible not to be deeply moved by the ages of the fallen, as the gravestones in our war cemeteries remind us. Young people who fought and helped save us from defeat in both world wars were often only 18, 19, or 20 years of age. Journeying is a constant theme of the Christmas story. The Holy Family made a journey to Bethlehem and arrived homeless without proper shelter. The wise men made a pilgrimage from the east to worship at the cradle of Christ. And the shepherds journeyed from field to town
Well, anyway,
in search of Jesus.
I'll link his video down there and you guys can go ahead and look at that. All right, moving right along here. Okay, so we are going to move on to celeb gossip here.
We should have expected that after.
Nope. Can't do it. All right, in celeb gossip. Okay, police in Boulder say they are reviewing new evidence in the JonBenet Ramsey case. Nearly 30 years later, they conducted new interviews, re-interview old witnesses, retest the DNA with newer technology. They won't say what the new evidence is, but they're publicly saying the case is still top priority of all the little cold cases of other people. This is taking priority, which this should. I mean, the way she died was very horrific, but there are other cases as well. In blank terms, police are finally taking or talking fresh steps after decades of mistakes and new DNA. Tech might crack the case. In other words, JonBenet Ramsey case is heating up again. Police say they've got new evidence almost 30 years later, and they're going to finally figure out what happened to this young girl here. And I hope they do solve the case, but please know there are other cold cases that has not been resolved. The Alexis Patterson case, forgot the other young little girl, I forgot her name, but several other cases they need to really take a look at as well. Here are some clips.
Is for me, I look forward to Christmas and the holidays all year. I love it. I love Thanksgiving too, but I really love Christmas. And I think for a lot of people, it's a lot of nostalgia, right? You remember yourself in jammies, opening presents and having family time and all the rest, right? But for those of us who are in the true crime community, and for one family in Colorado, the holiday season can be a very, very dark time because it is a grim anniversary. This month marks 29 years since 6-year-old JonBenet Ramsey was found murdered inside her family's home in Boulder, Colorado. That means nearly 3 decades of questions, 3 decades of investigative missteps, and 3 decades of one of the most haunting unsolved cases in American history. JonBenet was killed the day after Christmas, 1996, strangled, skull fractured, her body left in the basement of her own home. She'd been sexually assaulted. She was 6. And despite some brief moments of hope over all these years, no one has ever been charged in this crime. But there may be a new development. Boulder police have just said that they have new evidence in this case. In their annual update, Police Chief Stephen Redfern said JonBenet's murder remains a top priority, and he outlined new steps being taken to move this case forward. Take a look. Police are not saying what that evidence is or who has been interviewed or re-interviewed, but they are confirming that new and follow-up interviews have been conducted and that new evidence has been collected. I can't even imagine that. 30 years after the fact, new evidence. What did you find and where, you know? They also say that older evidence has been retested using advances in DNA technology with help from state, federal, and outside experts. And that got me thinking. Outside experts, because boy, oh boy, they seem to be so much better than our official ones, right? Government experts, meh. Outside experts, from. Investigators are once again urging
we have
anybody
great
with
experts,
information, no matter how small, to come forward and tell police. And just as he has for nearly 3 decades, JonBenet's father, John Ramsey, is still waiting for answers and still believing that a breakthrough will come. Earlier on my News Nation show, Banfield, I talked to John Ramsey. Here's our conversation.
So here's what I have to say about this entire case here. When I did a covering of this case, and it's in my Unsolved Mystery Cold Cases playlist, you can check it out. I gather it was someone that knew her father, like a security guard or something along those lines, that the girl probably ran across or something. And, and he was a pedo. And I do believe that he is the one who did something. He didn't want to snuck in, their house and things of that nature and waited. Although there's other parts of the case that's very, very sketchy, but that's what I believe. He used to work as like a security guard in the father's place or something. His father's job. So the man knew the girl's father. Was his name John? Is that was his name? John, I believe that's his name. So yeah, so that was where that whole suspicion was, that I believe the suspect is, although they had several suspects over the years, but I think that's the more prominent one. And did y'all, let me point something else. Y'all know that this young girl here, she's not a real blonde, right? I just want to point how far mothers would go to make their child look appealing. This young girl is not a real blonde. Her mother was dyeing her hair and her eyebrows blonde just so she can win beauty pageants. Yeah. Yes, that is a fact. She was dyeing her daughter's hair blonde to make her look appealing, putting her on makeup, putting on these little baby doll dresses and all this other stuff. This is her real eyebrows before they got dyed. It's the same color as her parents' hair color. As you can see here. Let me show you. See if I can slow it down so you can see. See? Dark hair, brother's dark hair. She was dyeing this girl's hair blonde. All before she was 6. That is fucking sick and freaking extreme. Putting her on makeup, making her look like an adult. I never liked these beauty pageants. I never did, but whatever. Do whatever you want to do. But I'm just saying, I just think trying to make these young girls more appealing and thinking, putting them in grown folks' clothing and walking around and dressing around like they're adults supposed to be entertained is some serious sick shit to me. I'm sorry. Why is this entertaining looking at young girls look grown? Why they can't do little girl stuff without the makeup and the grown? Why can't this be their age? Why do we have to see them grown? Who started this trend? Men? I mean, I'm going to a whole nother subject, but that's what I'm saying here. It's just weird. Here is another video.
Earlier this month, John Ramsey received a letter from a woman in Louisiana claiming that her husband is the one who took JonBenet's life. Now, that man that she's referring to is a guy who went by the alias of David Cooper. David Cooper called John Ramsey in the days following JonBenet's death in a series of phone calls, saying that he was hired by disgruntled employees of John's company to take the life of JonBenet. Now, John was skeptical of this and even questioned this guy about specific things in his house, saying, for example, I have a model airplane on my desk. What color is it? And the guy said red, and the airplane wasn't that red. But it wasn't just that. He was also able to identify other specific items in the house, explain how he entered the house, how he waited in a closet, and everything seems to match up. But here's the thing, Boulder police never followed up on this lead. They never brought him in for questioning. They never tested his DNA. In fact, they actually tasked John with, why don't you get him and bring him in? So John told his private investigators, the police, and this guy, hey, I'll pay for a flight for you to come from Boulder to here. And his detectives were like, no, wait a minute, let's just hold off on that. Even Ramsey's private detective said before he died that this guy confessed to writing the ransom note. And if you test the untested DNA on that note, it will match this guy. But to this date, they still haven't done it. We're going to be following this up. This might be the...
They're going to be following this up forever and a day. I'm telling you that right now. Some is definitely not stirring the Kool-Aid. I'm going to go ahead and I hope this case gets solved, but the rate they going, whatever. Probably a cop that did this one. Hell, we know. Okay, so Madeleine McCann. The video is from a truth crime creator who is talking about a theory connecting to Ghislaine Maxwell because the S is silent apparently in her name. Jeffrey Epstein and Madeleine McCann disappearance. Apparently there's some kind of connection between. Here is the clip. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section.
There's nothing more creepy than the fact that Ghislaine Maxwell
because the S is silent.
Literally identical to the sketch of the person that was last known to have seen Madeleine McCann. If y'all not familiar with the Madeleine McCann case, the little girl that went missing, I want to say back in this happened like around 90s, early 2000s. She was on a family trip and y'all, she just went missing. And to this day, they haven't been able to figure out what happened to her. And this was the last known person that was sketched that she was last seen with. This person has never been, to this day, never been identified. Never. Honestly, I got chills down my spine the first time I saw this photo, as well as I'm not into conspiracy theories at all. But if y'all remember, there was a photo of a woman in the crowd of one of JonBenet Ramsey's pageants. And the woman in the photo looked very similar to how Ghislaine Maxwell looked back in the time that picture was taken, that pageant. Now, to this day, they haven't identified who that woman is. Just a woman sitting in the crowd. Very strange coincidences. Like I said, you know Ghislaine Maxwell from Jeffrey Epstein and all that kind of stuff. She was the person who recruited, children for, but this is scary to me. I don't know. To this day, I just get creeps from this. What do y'all think about this?
First ever footage of Madeleine McCann after the event.
Okay, now this is footage that was released years ago. Now they're saying Ghislaine may have snatched this little girl a long time ago for her sick pedo reasons. So, and it's supposed to be Ghislaine and the young Madeleine young girl here. And it was rumors that they saw someone who was the description of Ghislaine back in the day because the S is silent. And with a young girl that looked like Madeleine McCann. Now, I wasn't too familiar with Ghislaine back in those days. I didn't know who they were talking about. But people are revisiting this footage and this little theory. And I just want to see what you guys think.
Spotted on Homeland in 2007, one day after her disappearance. This girl had her Hernia and was seen to watch.
I'm sorry, that noise. See there? See? Let me go back. Hold on, wait a minute. You see? That does look like the McCann girl, and I do look like Ghislaine, don't it? What did they do? Change her clothes? Wow, look at. Is she just walking freely down the street with this? Who is that guy? They need to find this guy and see if he know anything. Can they, and the footage don't even look like it's grainy. They couldn't put a mesh to that. I'm so sick of these cops down here in the United States. They are just not, I'm done because this is going to make me upset. Seriously. So anyway, let me just say some stuff here. Let me put that footage up here. There we go. We're going to put that up there as well. Now, curators suggest that there are shocking connections between Maxwell and this McCann case. The video itself is theory-based. It's not evidence-based. The TikTok even includes a disclaimer saying the information may be AI generated and not reliable. This footage here is not AI generated because they showed this initially when the case was brought forth when a girl came up missing, because I covered it. And this video was out there at that time too. This video is not AI generated. I can prove that because it wasn't a big thing back in those days. This is actually real footage. So I'm going to point that out there. This is actually real footage because this was out there back when I initially did the case. So this is not AI. I can confirm that right now. But just saying it may be AI generated, so it may not be reliable. In plain terms, this is still a speculated theory video, not a factual investigation, so we really don't know. So, but the creator do hint that Maxwell being in Portugal around the time when Madeleine disappeared, which could be a freaking lie. They lie about every goddamn thing down there. Possibly overlap between Epstein's network and the region. Suspicious figures connected to both cases. But again, these are theories not confirmed by police investigators, which will never probably get confirmed by police investigators. So are we going to even listen to any theory they're coming up with? Nope. So anyway, however, here are the actual facts confirmed in real life. From the real news, police are focused on Christian Bruckner, the German suspect. There is no official evidence linking Epstein or Maxwell to Madeleine McCann. No law enforcement agency has ever named Maxwell as a person of interest, of course, because we didn't know who the fuck she was back in those days. So why would she even be an interest? Just want to point that out. Anyway, so now listen, this clip is not confirmed. It's a theory floating around on TikTok. It shows a woman with a child on CCTV, and people online are saying the woman looks like Elaine Maxwell, which it does, and the child looks like Madeleine McCann, which it does. Again, this is not proven, not verified, and not part of the official investigation. It's just something people are talking about it. So just want to point that out there. Okay, so let's move on. All right, we're going to talk about Kanye West here. Multiple outlets are reporting Kim Kardashian is accusing Kanye of not showing up for the kids and deserting his duties as a father. Even though he made several viral videos claiming he's the father of the year and she's trafficking her kids and she's keeping his kids from him, and he can't do this and he can't do that. He can't go to a birthday party. He can't do blah, 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 all this other nonsense that he did back in the day. So she's saying he rarely sees the kids. He talks online about keeping the kids, but Kim says he never calls to ask for them. She's so fed up. She's not even considering changing the kids. She's thinking about changing the kids. I'm sorry, last name for West Kardashian. Well, go ahead and do that, girl. Do your thing. I wouldn't do that. That's a bit personal. Ask the kids if they want to change their name, and don't try to convince them to do that. Let them, do it by their own decision. I wouldn't do it when they're young. I would just let them decide whether they want to change their name, their last name or not. I wouldn't do it because I'm pissed off at their father. I'm sorry, I wouldn't do that. That's a bit extreme, I'll let them do it. If they want to change their name, let them change their name, but don't you do it. Let them decide on their own if they want to do that. So in blank terms, Kim says Kanye talks big online but doesn't show up in real life, and she's done begging him to be a dad. So I was initially going to say Kim changed her names, but I thought about it. I'm like, I wouldn't do them real young because that's taking my frustration out on them and making them, no. And I wouldn't do that. I don't know what the hell's going on with Kanye. I'm going to be real with you. I think ever since he got with this little goofy ass girl right here, and I don't know if the girl is being abused and he treating her like another Cassie. I don't know. All I know is that Kanye is not over Kim. He is not over Kim Kardashian at all. He wants her back, but he just don't know how to go about doing it because Geminis are so extra with their feelings. They'd rather act a plum food and just blatantly say, I miss you, I'm miserable without you. They just do stupid shit they just do stupid crap, I'm telling you. Instead of just saying, look, I'm lost without you. Can you take me back? But he's got this little young weird girl. I don't even know who she is, honestly. All I know is she's a nudist and she likes being naked, but we don't know if that's the true factual information about her or he likes her to be naked. I have no idea. These are just theories, but all I know is that if Kanye needs to get his act together, if he wants to get back with Kim, which Kim probably don't want his ass back, but if she does, he needs to get his act together and stop acting the way he's acting. And he needs to release his girl from whatever binding he got her on, because this is going far enough and it's getting freaking ridiculous. Now, if he was only dissing Kim Kardashian because other celebrities, his friends, were, saying don't be friends with the Kardashian, fuck them. How can they talk? They was friends with Diddy for years and years and years, and knowing Diddy was a freaking monster, how the hell they gonna condone and give you some advice on who to be friends with? Man, they be the last people I listen to when it comes to any friendship advice. I'm sorry. Hell to the no. So by those standards alone, fuck them. If that was the reason why he dissed Kim because other people say she wasn't cool, I'm done. But anyway, here are the clips right here. Excuse my language,
Kim
but
Kardashian has done a really good job of protecting her children's father and not airing out all his dirty laundry. Until now. Hello, my friend. It is Perez, the queen of all media, the original influencer, and Kim is done being silent. Even when Kanye was at his most Kanye on Elon Musk's platform, his ex-wife and baby mama said nothing. But now she's got Skims to promote and is telling all on the most recent episode of Call Her Daddy. So many wild revelations. We will get to them all, but let's start with the saddest. Alex Cooper asked the reality TV icon what it's like co-parenting with that dude, and she said, "What do you think co-parenting with Kanye is like?" Kardashian says it's not easy, understatement, but that she welcomes a great, healthy relationship between her children and their father. And I think he knows that. I push for it all the time, but I also protect them when it's time for that. And it goes in waves and phases. It's a lot of work. But she says that she comes from a place where she has the best memories and best relationship with her father, the late Rob Kardashian. So I welcome healthy relationships, but it's not easy. One of the many reasons it's not easy is because Kanye rarely sees or even speaks to their children. Honey, she went there spilling all the tea. Kim reveals that their 4 kids live with her full time and that they see their dad, quote, whenever he'll call for them and ask. It's probably been a couple of months since we've heard from him. Ew. A couple of months since you've even called your children? Gross. Gross. But Kim is still trying to maintain a positive image of their father for their kids, saying they always knew that he had a big life traveling before and was always on tour and all of that. He lives in different countries all the time and loves to live all over the place. So we manage it really well. And Kim adds about their kids, they love their life and their routine and their schedule. Things they probably would not get with dad. And Kim says, I think as their mom, her job is just to make sure that they stick to their routine and they're healthy and happy. Amen. Kimberly also clapped back at this narrative that she keeps her kids from their father. A narrative not just parroted by, but spearheaded by Kanye himself. She says, look, it's not easy, no matter what, co-parenting with anyone. And I think the one thing that just gets me is that there's this narrative that I keep the kids away from him. I've never done that once. There's been so many times where I've been like, I just want to show all of these texts. What are you talking about?
Then show them.
But she doesn't.
Then again, I wanted to show.
Despite all of Kanye's tirades against her, her mother, and her family, she almost always remains silent for the sake of their kids. She says, I think it's all good and we're living our life. And then I wake up and there's all these tweets about how I've kidnapped the kids. And I'm like, it's not a kidnapping, it's a divorce. We can still all be in each other's lives and have group dinners. I just grew up so different, seeing my family co-parent so great. And I see it with Chloe and Tristan. And I just see really healthy relationships. So when the time is right, my mom would always say, you've got to give it 5 years of being divorced before everything really comes together and everyone can coexist and be friends. But it's not going to be like that for the first few years. Well, Kim and Kanye divorced in November of 2022. She's still got over 2 years left, according to the Kris Jenner rule. The beauty and fashion guru says that every time the kids ask, I will always let them see their father, unless it's a time where things are super unhealthy, she says. In those situations, she'll say, hey, let's do it here at my house or figure out a different time. Sensible. She added, but actually, when he is like that, he doesn't really want to see the kids a lot. So if he's having a hard time, he doesn't. So it's always worked out. Kim reveals that she's even sent their kids to different countries to go meet up with their father, reaffirming that she does not keep the children away from him.
Who's saying this? Who is saying that she's keeping the kids
her
from
marriage to Kanye, describing it as toxic. She says, I do have a problem of only remembering the good. I'm a really forgiving person, but I really haven't dated like that to have those kinds of toxic relationships since I've been divorced. She says that with age, she's become a more level-headed person. I think when you get older, you just don't tolerate that shh. You don't have time. And Kim specifically addresses all of those people who criticize her for getting into a relationship with Kanye in the first place. You know, she signed up for this. Well, she disagrees. Kim says, people can say that there was signs, and maybe I wasn't paying attention to them. And I think when someone has their first mental break, you know,
Did she say
you
like
want to be super supportive and you want to help figure that out. And you want to really get into that with them and be there for them. However, Kim added that Kanye wasn't willing to make changes that she thought would be super healthy and beneficial. Quote, it makes it really hard to continue on in a relationship that can be toxic. When you have kids, it's definitely harder to leave than it is to stay, and it changes everyone's life forever. However, Kim said that she wanted to set a positive example for her children by walking away. Quote, once my mental health starts to get affected and that I can't parent the way that I need to, and I can't be present and focused, then there's got to be one of us that can. And I had to save myself in order to be a better mom for everyone. And I think like when everyone's older, they'll be able to understand it and see that all. Kim says that not only were Kanye's mental health struggles a toll on their relationship, but so was also the lack of stability and feeling safe with him, probably tied to his mental health issues. Kim says, just not feeling safe, you know, not even physically, just like maybe emotionally or even, you know, financially. I would like come home and we had like 5 Lamborghinis, and I'd come home and they'd all be gone if he was in an episode. And I'd be like, oh, wait, where's all our cars? Like my new car. And it would be like, oh, he gave them away to all of his friends.
Oh my.
Ultimately, Kim noted, I didn't know what you're going to get when you wake up, and that's like a really unsettling feeling. Kanye in the past opened up about being diagnosed with bipolar disorder, only 2 years later, then reverse, claiming that he was misdiagnosed and has autism instead.
No, that's what he called it.
Kim opens up about her dating life now, saying, I am single and I feel totally content. I've been single for a while.
Oh, it must be
adding that
nice
this is the longest she's been without a partner. Kim instead says that she's putting her focus in her single era. I have my kids to raise. I have a life that requires a lot of my attention, and my kids just really need me right now. So I'm there 24/7, you know? I don't know how I would fit something else in. I'm just not looking. And it would have to be like someone super special. And as she puts it, I've had all my fun. I've had all my phases. Now I just have to be with my baby.
Sound like a woman in her 40s.
Same. And while Kim is content being a single mom, she said that their oldest child, North, encourages her to date. Kim opens up, North had to say to me, Mom, I think you go upstairs and like at night, cry. Like, it's okay. Like, it's time to move on. You need to have a boyfriend now. Mom, you've got to get remarried.
Why is she gotta be remarried?
You're getting too old, and no one is going to deal with this. And I was just like, what? She says it to me all the time. North.
How old is North?
But looking back on her marriage to Kanye, Kim says she has no regrets. An over a decade relationship with 4 beautiful children is not a failure, she says. Kim also said that Kris Jenner factored into her split from Kanye a lot, but not in the way you might think. She reveals, you know, like, I didn't like the feeling of, like, you know, someone being like,
too old to be
maybe
saying like
this. You know, my kid's grandmother, aunts. If someone feels that way, then, you know, we shouldn't be together. You know, maybe airing out a lot of stuff, a lot of personal stuff. You know, remember Kanye called her Kris Jong-un, amongst other things. Kim does reveal that her approach to Kanye has evolved.
All right, I think I'll let this go on enough. Anyway, I'll leave the link to his stuff below as well, okay? Here's Kim in a little snip of this interview he's talking about.
So, when was the last time Kanye saw the kids?
whenever he'll call for them and ask, it's probably been a couple months since we've heard from him.
Okay, here's where I think Kim is coming from when it comes to. Let me read your comments. I'm sorry. Hey, Nap, how you doing? How you doing? Oh yeah, the hat is beautiful. You said, hold on. Yes, Valley Girl lingo. Yeah, yeah. You say nothing wrong with being single, been divorced 15 years, and been happy, no drama, dating is okay, but Kim needs to be single. Yes, exactly. She needs to get to know herself. Being single after being in and out of relationships have to be so exhilarating. And so I'm telling you, we are in a phase and a stage where spiritual growth is more so than religious bindment and conformality and loyalship. People want to be feeling free and spiritual inside out, and being spiritual, going from praying to man to meditating and getting in tune with your own power is so exhilarating and clean and clear. I'm telling you, of course, you got to go through the storm to get to this peaceful state of mind, but you approach everything at a clear mind and no second guessing of judgment. Your circle is being dissected as well. It's a beautiful feeling. Trust me. If I was still with it, I'd be nervous. I'd be in much worse shape. I'm telling you, it'd be so bad. I'm telling you. Huh? You saw it was driving me crazy. Okay. I'm going to put a share link. If you guys want to come up and talk, go ahead. I don't care. That darn like stuff. Like. That's all I kept. Seriously. I hope she don't be trying to argue a case in front of the judge, which like every 5 seconds, because I was a judge. I will seriously be upset about the whole phrases she keeps saying. But I understand what she's saying. I believe Kim is at an age where she do not want to deal with another man and issue. I know how it feels to be with a Gemini. I'm married to a Gemini and I love him very much, but you are just drained after that. You're not trying to get another goddamn relationship. You're not trying to go through that emotional roller coaster. You'd be like, I'm done. I just want to focus on myself, my career. If I have kids, and that's it. Because they are a piece of work. You see, we have a Gemini in the White House. And then another type of Gemini is freaking Kanye West. I mean, come on now. It's Kim, girl, if you want to speak to me, we can talk about this. I'm telling you, because I've been there where you at, honey. I'm still there. Not to the degree, but I'm just saying I can probably give you a few pointers for this. I'm telling you, because I know how I feel. So if you want to come on, hey, first try to figure out who's hacking my shit before you come on. But we can talk. I'm telling you, we can talk. All right, so moving on here to the next story here.
Kim Kardashian has done.
Let me write down those two videos so I can remember them, because I'm not gonna remember them. Okay, Nicki. I have Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj has turned full MAGA. Nicki Minaj shocked fans by appearing at Turning Point USA's American Fest and openly praising Donald Trump and JD Vance. She said this: I love both of them. Called Trump handsome and dashing. Okay. She said she's tired of being pushed around, told fans it's okay to change her mind. Now, this is a major shift from her past criticism of Trump immigration policies. In layman terms, Nicki Minaj has officially crossed over into MAGA, and she's not hiding it. Nicki Minaj is only turning to MAGA the same reason Kanye West turned to MAGA, because she felt abandoned and she felt abandoned by her own people. She felt her own people turned against her and criticized her for coming out about certain people, the Hive and the Hova and all them people. She felt that coming out, same thing Kanye did. He came out against those people as well, and he was deemed as crazy. Damon Dash is deemed as crazy. Anyone who comes out against the Hove and the Hive, they're always deemed as crazy. And their reputation is seriously lynched. So now she's one of those people. What West did, he went and sided with the man who he thought was deemed as crazy because they're projecting their own problems off on this man, Donald Trump, because they feel like, you know, he reminds me of myself. Two different situations. They're projecting, reason being because they feel rejected by their own people. So now they're going against their own people by siding up with Donald Trump. West is doing it. Demi Dash has not done it, thank goodness. But West is doing it, and so is Nicki Minaj, because they feel rejected by their own people. That's the only reason they signed with Trump. For what I don't understand with West, no one has abandoned him. Nicki Minaj still have fans, but she probably don't have a lot of fans now. But she was still having fans, even though predominantly the people who criticized her were mods and, you know, Ives and Hoes. But, you know, you get my drift. I'm just saying. Sorry about that. I put the wrong thing up there. All right, so here's what I'm trying to say here. Nicki Minaj is only doing this because, again, she's feeling abandoned by her own people. So she signed with Trump. That's the only reason she's doing this. Here are the videos here.
Nicki Minaj has reacted to losing millions of Instagram followers after all the backlash she's got. The shift started after Nicki appeared alongside Eric.
Here's the link if you want to come across.
Strong reactions across social media. Soon after, people began noticing her follower count dropping at a rapid pace. Screenshots started circulating showing millions of followers disappearing in a short time. The situation became impossible to ignore as the number.
This is pretty low. Yeah, I might have to turn it up.
Not long after, Nicki made a sudden move and deleted her Instagram account completely. Many saw it as an attempt to stop the loss and step away from the growing noise. So now Nicki is losing millions of fans by the day, and it doesn't seem like there's anything she can do to stop it. Before she deleted her account, Nicki responded to the backlash she's receiving. Underneath the post about it, Nicki left a comment. In her comment, she wrote, "I will never stop being me to get approval from anyone." That comment shows she feels completely firm in who she is and refuses to change for online approval. So she would rather walk away from her fans and supporters than change herself to please everyone. Before you go, I want to know, could you ever be her fan again after this?
Yeah, I'm telling you, she feel abandoned. I'm telling you, she feel abandoned, and that's why she's doing this.
Responded by posting this. Know your neighborhood and protect your community. Wait, hold on. California's Megan's Law website makes it easy to access publicly available information about registered sex offenders in your area.
That is crazy. He is so feeling liberated right now in his own platform.
Bravo, press team. Whoever it is that's running his socials and his press, that was pretty amazing. You know why it's amazing? It's amazing because Nicki Minaj's husband is a registered sex offender. And as of September of 2025, his name is Kenneth Petty. He was on supervision, remains on supervised probation. This is according to, I think it's People magazine. Remains on supervised probation for failing to register as a sex offender in California. Additionally, Petty is embroiled in an ongoing civil lawsuit from a woman who he allegedly sexually assaulted in 1994, and then it goes on. Okay, so he is a registered sex offender, and Gavin Newsom's office posted that. Look, nothing funny about being a sex offender, but that was a complete own. And so again, people don't know what to make of Nicki Minaj right now. She's doing this. Especially with a man who said that Black women did not have brain processing power. And Black folks are like wondering what is going on with Nicki Minaj. And then she makes the assassin flub, okay? And then Erica Kirk, no less, makes a flub of her own because people have been calling Erica Kirk a grifter and others who they believe are grifting off of Charlie Kirk's death, meaning the president, the vice president. Again, that's not me saying that. Well, that's what it looks like, that they're grifting off of someone's death. Erica Kirk has, again, been on this media tour. People grieve differently. But this is a flub that she made about grifting. Here it is.
Yeah, go watch that show. And here's what Dr. Umar said. Very interesting.
I'm disappointed in my sister Nicki. You have no business using hip hop music to build yourself in Black culture. Very talented sister, very articulate sister, very intelligent sister, tremendous lyricist. Few sisters I could put in front of her in terms of lyrical talent. But how dare you build a comfortable life for you and your beautiful family on Black culture and then turn around and use that success to help Donald Trump leverage his military agenda against Black Africa, the Black Caribbean, and Black America. I need her to understand, Art, Sister Nicki, you are being used against the Black Caribbean. You are being used against Black Africa, and you are being used against Black America. Is what Donald Trump is offering you, is it worth that? Is it worth the turning back the clock of African people in 3 separate regions are? You got the Caribbean, he's pushing that Venezuela military agenda. You got Nigeria, he's pushing that fake save the Christians in the North agenda so he can access Ibrahim Traore. And of course, you see what he's doing to Black folks. I hope my sister rethinks what she's doing. I got nothing but love for her and her family. But Nicki Minaj, please, 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 sister, do not go down in history as one of the greatest coons who ever lived in the 21st century.
Facts. 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 Definitely hot and cold now. Definitely hot and cold. You said I saw a cycle last year and doing a get reading for Rich Homie Quan. He said then people got Nicki Minaj. Probably. I think she projecting, and I think this marriage has gotten her a little isolated, not because of her own well-being, it's because of who she married. You know, so the social circle that she was normally affiliated with do not want to be around her husband because of his history. So a lot of people who were cool with her are not cool with her because of those reasons. She's lonely. She feels abandoned. Instead of her going to a counselor or re-examining everything, she's saying, accept my husband, accept me. But a lot of people aren't. And then we have, the whole, the hive, they control kind of the social circle in hip hop. If they're not cool with you, nobody's not going to be cool with you. And that's pretty much how the whole thing goes. Now, instead of her just rolling and doing her paper and not calling them like, okay, you can do what you got to do. I don't care. I want to be in that. So what? Whatever. This is my man. Or try. Well, I'm sorry. He has a history of rape, and I'm trying to be rational as possible, but I'll probably be acting like them. I'm sorry. I won't want to be around him either. I'm sorry. I just no. But you know what? I'm on the fence with this whole thing. Never mind. But if I was in her shoes, I would never be. Have been unknowingly? Yes. But knowingly? Hell no. So I will keep my hustle, keep doing what I'm doing, be nice. I will not mess with anybody, and just keep it moving. Keep clocking my dollars, doing my paper, doing what I got to do, being positive. Try to build up my reputation. I don't know, as a humanitarian, as a giving person, as a really humble person, still not showing any bitterness toward anyone. I would even try to make amends with drama starting freaking Cardi B, who likes starting shit and then claiming victim later and then using her kids as a ploy to make her look humble. After going on stage hollering bitches, this bitches, that, whatever, that's on another subject. But anyway, that's what I would do if I was Nicki Minaj. Now, what you say? Thank you, Kim. Thank you. You said, right, her brother and her husband, she's unable to control what her brother did, but she can control what she married. That's the part. Is there some kind of childhood drama? I mean, I can understand if she was assaulted. Nope. I've heard men turning into the predator sometimes if they were assaulted as a kid and they turn into a predator, and there are some people terms of advocates towards predators. So I don't, I'm just gonna not even talk about that right now. That's a whole nother subject. Nicki Minaj, girl, if you want to come up here and tell your story that is full blown and simple, we can hear your story. I don't mind. It's all good. Just saying. Now, let's move on to something else here. All righty, let's talk about Epstein, okay? It says the next part of this is some freshly newly released Epstein files. There's an old unverified allegation claiming Trump and Epstein R8, I'm on YouTube, I can say raped a woman back in the 90s. The Justice Department itself says the claim is false and sensational. Well, not sensational, whatever the hell they're saying. And Trump hasn't been charged with anything related to Epstein, but it is in the news because the files were just released. An unverified rape allegation involving Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. It was reported to the FBI by a third party based on a woman's statement from 1990s with names redacted and explicitly labeled by the Justice Department as untrue and sensational. Like they're going to admit anything. Should we believe? Never mind. Trump has been charged. He has not been charged, I'm sorry, with any crime related to Epstein, but he's a president now. I don't even know if they can charge a sitting president. I don't know the rules and the legalities when it comes to that whole thing. But they're saying the DOJ is saying that it's unverified, it's false, material submitted right before the 2020 election, and that the release is for transparency, not confirmation. Again, not surprised. This is what the DOJ is saying and pertaining to this file that's been released. In blank terms, in the simplest way I can say it, new Epstein files were released, and inside them is an old unverified allegation claiming Trump and Epstein raped a woman in the 90s. The Justice Department says the claim is false, unproven, and sensational, and Trump hasn't been charged with anything related to Epstein, but can you charge a sitting president? I don't know. Now, just want to say that. Now, what the documents actually say, it says a limo driver told the FBI in 2020 that a woman once told Trump and Epstein raped her in the 90s. The woman allegedly said that she was afraid to report it because they will kill her. And considering how powerful Trump was in the 90s, I can believe that. Okay. The DOJ said the allegations is unfounded and that would have been used politically if it had been credibility. I doubt if it would have been used politically, considering he rigged the election. It wouldn't even matter what they said about him. Just saying. The files also show Trump flew on Epstein's jet more times than previously reported, including with Maxwell present on some flights. Again, none of this is a criminal charge. And again, not surprised. Take a look at these clips.
I went down a rabbit hole.
Trying to go through this.
Me up good. Do you remember Madeleine McCann? The little 3-year-old girl who was vacationing with her family at a Portuguese resort in May 2007. And they left her sleeping in the Airbnb and someone took her. And she was never seen again. So in 2009, this person was the lead suspect. Okay, the sketch is being held by a family representative. Now, what if? What if?
Yeah, I believe that's her. Tell me if you guys believe that's her in the comment section.
The DOJ just dropped the latest chunk of Epstein files, and this is going to be a little darker than usual. There's some allegations concerning Donald Trump. You know how we always say that coming from the right, every accusation is a confession? And then every once in a while, we realize that we held back on recognizing something as a legitimate accusation and therefore confession because we just assumed it was too wild, too crazy to really believe. Well, In the latest released files, there are multiple communications from a victim alleging to have been trafficked in 1984 at the age of 13 by her uncle and Epstein, and that Donald Trump was among the men that paid for her. And I'm sorry, I don't want to soften this language, but I feel it's more important that this get out, because that's not all. She also claims that she was pregnant at this time and that Donald Trump was present when her uncle disposed of her newborn in Lake Michigan, which it's hard to know what to do with that information. It sounds like a right-wing conspiracy theory. In fact, it sounds like something that Trump has been accusing Democrats of doing for years.
Do that.
Something he calls post-birth abortions, which, as we all know, are not a real thing, because post-birth, that is not an abortion, obviously. And yet, who comes up with something like that? It feels very weird to be on this side of the question of credulity of an accusation of that nature. And to be clear, this is something that has happened to trafficking victims before. We're just not used to knowing the people allegedly involved. There are a couple of reasons why the DOJ may have released this, considering we already know that they have scrubbed Donald Trump's name from these files as much as possible. They literally removed files that contained photos of him or inclusions of his name that they meant to redact and missed. Number one, it was done purposely. They felt that this accusation was either too hard to believe or easier to disprove, easier to cast doubt on than others, hence its inclusion. Or it was, as their previous inclusions of his name, an accident. If you look at this document, his name is actually included in this form entry. So first name Donald, last name Trump for a witness. Then in the paragraph describing this witness, the victim describes how Trump witnessed the alleged infanticide. They also describe how Donald Trump partook in their trafficking. It's possible they just missed it. I genuinely don't know what to do with this, but at least we know what some of the allegations against him are.
I said in the tarot reading, I don't know if you guys remember this. I said in the tarot reading that Trump was not Epstein. He was not only Epstein's client, he was his partner. He is a trafficker too. This is all alleged. All this is alleged. It's not verified. I just want to point that out. All right, move on to the next subject. Okay. Thanks for all staying throughout the duration of this live show. Don't worry, my upcoming live shows won't be as long. I will more than likely cut a lot of sections off a little, probably politics. I'll probably cut a little short. You know, I don't know. I like politics though. All right, so here we go here. Diddy new legal move. Okay, listen, my truth seekers, let's talk about Diddy because this story is still unfolding. The newest update is that Diddy lawyers are now asking the appeals court to let him out of prison immediately. They're saying the judge went too far at sentencing and used evidence from charges the jury actually acquitted him of. This is what they're saying. They went in overload with this. They want the conviction reversed, the sentence reduced, or Diddy to walk free right now. And while all that's happening, Diddy's sons, Justin and Christian, just dropped a trailer for their new docuseries. It shows them reacting to the trial, watching old footage, and even talking. What I don't understand, even talking together and talking to their dad in prison. Yeah, and taking a collect call from him in prison. Zeus Network says this isn't about defending him. It's about the sons telling their own story. So these are the two sons. Let me just make sure you understand this. These are the two sons who are also in trouble. He has a case in court right now for sexual assault. He was a co-conspirator of a homicide with his dad from a man name is G in the bathroom. So them defending Diddy is not even credible for them. Just saying. It's like, okay, all birds of a feather flock together. Thanks for confirming that goddamn phrase. Anyway. Yes, those rituals are definitely demonic. Definitely. So yes. Let me just reiterate, just in case it went over your heads, okay? Diddy is officially asking the court to let him out of prison immediately because he is too. Why is he in prison anyway? It's like he said, "I'm Diddy. I am Sean Combs. What the fuck? This is ridiculous. I shouldn't even be in prison. I should be out doing my orgies, having these freak offs, making death threats, and holding it up with the hoes and the hives, and being a nice criminal, genocidal, pedo, rapist, serial murdering, crazy person and ruining hip hop forever behind the scenes and making it so catastrophic and so haunting and taunting to so many people that they have to do drugs and have nightmares or jump out of hip hop altogether because he made it so freaking. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and leave my comments to myself because I get really deep into it. But I heard on the streets, yeah, he made it a living nightmare. But anyway, getting to what I was saying, okay? So he's saying he wanted to be let out immediately. His lawyers just filed a major appeal with the federal court in New York, telling the judges that the trial judge went too far when he said, I don't think he went far enough when he was sentenced. They're saying the judge used evidence from charges Diddy was acquitted of to give him a harsher sentence. I don't think his sentence was harsh enough. I think he got off easy, but whatever. They're saying the jury said he wasn't guilty of those bigger crimes, so why was he sentenced like he was? I feel that he should have been sentenced more. Legally, he could have been sentenced up to 15 years. He didn't even get that. He only got 50 months, which I thought was still too little, but whatever. His team is arguing that the judge acted like a 13th juror and ignored the jury decision. Are these lawyers even thinking about the charges against Diddy, or are they just too stupid? I'm just saying. They want the appeals court to do one of the three things: reverse the conviction, order Diddy's immediate release, or force the judge to reduce the sentence. Not going to happen. Right now, Diddy is serving a 50-month sentence at the FCA Fort Dix in New Jersey and is scheduled for release in May of 2028, which I don't think is long enough. So, yes, if he may end up staying there longer because the upcoming trials and charges is against him now. He tried to get out and run or threaten everyone who's filing charges against him. So, yes, this is a real legal push, and it's happening right now. So, meanwhile, Diddy's sons are stepping into the spotlight. Justin and Christian Combs, the horny man who went downhill since his mom died, and the dude who's a cold murderer, apparently. Anyway, just dropped a trailer for the new docuseries Being Stupid and Naive with Zeus Network coming in 2026. The trailer shows them watching footage from the trial and completely ignoring the evidence. And they know it's true, but they criminals is like their father, so why bother? And that's not even his real father. But whatever. So then watching footage from the trial, emotional reactions, headlines flashing across the screen, and even a collect call from their daddy from prison. You know, the network had to come out and say, this is not an endorsement of Diddy. This is his sons telling their story. Sure. People online are already debating whether it's a PR move, a sympathy play, or just the kids being stupid, or the kids trying to process what happened. Either way, it's trending. Take a look at this clip. I'm trying to move past it because we've been in this live show 2 hours. So I'm trying to.
This man Diddy is trying to hit a reverse Uno card, y'all. He's coming out with the first ever counter documentary, fool. It's the first for me. I ain't never seen no one come out with a counter documentary. I guess that 50 Cent documentary really hit that man where it hurt. And of course, guess who's making it? Zeus. Y'all, look at this shit. Make this up. Shit crazy.
Hello. This is a prepaid collect call from Federal Correctional Institution, Fort Dix.
Diddy PR team is like, no, we gonna turn this shit around. This man Diddy is not giving up. He like, I didn't do nothing. He gonna keep that same energy. My question for y'all is, are y'all gonna be watching it? Let me know down below in the comment.
I'm gonna go ahead and tap into my whatever. this is what not really tap in, but just give my profile expertise about. These two are not eligible or legible people to give their opinion about a goddamn thing. They are going to show the humble and side to their father and stepfather. Watch how he's a good father, how he's loving and giving. They are going to make him look like a black victim, a black man victim. Bullshit. There are too many victims to even paint him in that picture of being some black man who's being lynched by the media. Don't try to label him as Martin Luther King. Don't try to label him as Bill Cosby because he was lynched as well. Don't try to label him as any Malcolm X even, or anyone, Mike Jackson. Don't try to label him as any of those people. Don't even put him in the same category. He's not even in the same party. He's not even in the same circle. He's not even in none of those goddamn circles. Diddy is a monster. There's too many freaking stories that got verified that was rolling around the streets back then. He got too much blood on his hands. This dude is seriously, he should be going to jail for attempted murder. No, whatever, attempted murder. And he's currently getting charged for sexual assault. And I'm sure there's more charges going to be against him as well. So why are we listening to these two young criminals? But whatever. Now, what you said, you have several people saying SC is a monster, have a video, etc. But R. Kelly, that's what I'm saying. They have no evidence against R. Kelly. They just had a bunch of hearsay people, the same as freaking Diddy, and he got locked up for 25 freaking years. And we know who did this. We know who added and padded R. Kelly's case. We know who called some people in the elite and said, you know what, the Hove and the Diddy. We know who did that shit, man. We know who did it. We know who did it. So we already know who did that. Not justifying R. but the same. Yeah. Diddy I don't think he in there long enough. He's getting on my nerves. I'm sick of hearing about this man. Seriously, enough with the Diddy stuff. Why can't he just shut up? Bro, I'm going to be real with you. I know there's some Diddy fans out here, but I am so sick of this man. I'm tired of hearing about him. I don't want to hear about him anymore. We got other shit to deal with. We got a president who's trying to kill us. Nope. We got weather going crazy all over the place, floods and weather. Nope. We got time for Diddy. No. If I was a judge, they keep pissing me off. I add more shit. You know, never mind. Here's the AI generated video. It's not a real video. It's AI generated. They are hilarious with this video. They are hilarious. This is hilarious. Oh my gosh. All right. Here's the end part of my show, and I'm gonna close it up. Reason I was so long here. You guys want to follow these? I don't know if they have their name on here. They didn't. Sorry. But anyway. All right, the last part of the leg of my show, we're talking about brain food. Whew, goodness, 2 hours. Seriously? This is what happens when you don't go live every day. You have these 2-hour shows. Maybe I should try going live every day. I don't have to have these 2-hour shows, right? All right, y'all. Let's talk about this real quick. All right, anybody out there? Is there anybody out there still yelling Happy New Year like they know what time it is? But I have a question for you. Why do people believe this story is the first? Why do y'all believe this story in the first place? Let me just rephrase that. Who told you January 1st was the beginning of anything? Who decided that the dead of winter, when nothing grows, nothing blooms, nothing begins, is the start of the new year? Because let me tell you, January 1st is not ancient. It's not spiritual. It's not cosmic. It's just pure paperwork. The date we celebrate today, for that date, comes from the Gregorian calendar created by Pope Gregory. Yes, please listen to what I'm saying. The 13th in 1582. People before that, Europe used the Julian calendar created by Julius Caesar. And before that, most ancient cultures didn't even think about starting a new year in winter. The Egyptians didn't do it. The Hebrews didn't do it. The Romans didn't do it. Most Africans and indigenous cultures didn't do it as well. Okay. They started the year in spring when the earth wakes up. That is the proper way to start the new year, when the earth wakes up. Back in those days, they timed everything from the stars, from earth, from nature, not from paper, and definitely not by men. Okay. So when the earth wakes up, when the sun returns, when the first green sprouts and shoots break through the soil and the first plant comes up and the flowers start blooming, when life begins again, even the Bible starts the year in spring. Nature starts the year in spring. Your body actually starts the year in spring. Your body goes through changes. If you stay in a state where there's 4 seasons, your body goes through changes through each season. If you haven't noticed that, it depends if you're religious and spiritual. If you're religious, it probably would stay the same. Because when you're religious, you're open, susceptible for possession anyway. Not to be, talking about religious people out there, but this is actually a fact, whatever. Anyways, your body starts the year in spring. So why are we celebrating in January? Because a European institution changed the calendar, everybody else eventually fell in line like they usually do. And here's the first part, and the most important part that you guys didn't know. When France switched to the new calendar, not everybody accepted it. Some people kept celebrating the new year in April 1st. So the new year they were celebrating was around April 1st, or on April 1st, the old way, the natural way. That's when you're supposed to actually celebrate New Year's. Or some people just celebrate the last week of March leading to April 1st because, time has changed so many times. So they just say, we just go ahead and just, celebrate the last week of March until April 1st. Okay. And what did society do? They mocked them. They called them April Fools. Like, you fool, you still celebrating New Year's in April. You fool, ha ha ha. And they made it some collateral and some crazy joke to play tricks on people. That's where April Fool's Day come from. People refusing to accept the new tradition. So they got mocked. Just like people who weren't celebrating religion, they weren't Christian, they either killed them, mocked them, or just, totally blacklist them and lynched them. And it was tyranny. Anyone who didn't accept Christianity was ridiculed and treated like crap. Slaves, they killed them. They say you either bind with this God that we made or you would die. They were seriously manipulating back in those days. So it didn't match the history. It didn't match their spirit, which is why they didn't celebrate New Year's when they said it. So I ask you again, why do we believe this story in the first place? Because when the story is repeated long enough, the same way why people were celebrating Christmas when it had nothing to do with Christ at all. At all. It had nothing to do with Christ. He wasn't born on December 25th. And it was that's a whole nother subject. Never mind. I actually posted a video about that on my social media feed. Y'all might want to check that out. Anyways, as I stated, if a story is repeated long enough, people stop questioning it. And when a powerful institution writes the calendar, they write the culture. So now listen, I'm telling you to not throw away January 1st, because you can celebrate a new calendar year if you want to. Just make it a spiritual thing. They'll make it a symbolic thing. They'll make it a cosmic thing. They'll make it a magical thing. Just say, I'm glad I, lived through a new calendar year. That's it. Now, listen, I'm not telling you again to throw away January 1st. Celebrate if you want to. Have your champagne, make your resolutions. But don't get discouraged because you don't have to reject January 1st. Just understand it. The real New Year is when you begin again. Just know nature's New Year is in spring. Yes, on April 1st, hence April Fools. The government New Year is in January. Let me say that again. Just know the nature's New Year is in spring on April 1st, hence April Fools. The government New Year is in January. But your personal New Year is whenever you decide to wake up and not when they tell you to. And I'm going to close it with this. Okay? I'm going to close it with this. Okay? this is pretty much it for tonight's show. Thank you for thinking with me, learning with me, and most importantly, questioning with me, because over here, I don't just take information as it's handed to me, and I don't let the world tell me what to believe. I ask deeper questions, which is why I blacklisted. I look beneath the headlines. I connect the dots. They hope I never see or notice. Remember, your mind is your first home, your first weapon, and your first freedom. Protect it, feed it, and don't let anybody else do the thinking for you. Now, before I go, let me leave you with this. If tonight made you question the stories you've been told, wait until you hear what I have to say on the next episode. There's a whole new layer they don't want you to see. And where I'm going, I'm definitely going there, okay? Until next time, stay curious, stay grounded, and stay sovereign. Good night, y'all.
We see you, we see you, we remember. I am the storm, I am the storm. I am the silence, I am the silence. I am the truth unveiled, I am the truth unveiled.
You are seeing yourself.